Yes, you can put in your wardrobe and have AI choose your clothes for you in the morning. But I'm trying to keep my brain sharp, so I'm doing that myself still. But I want to, on the handout, I have some ideas of different forms of AI that might be interesting to use. The first one is ChatGPT, and that's kind of like a discussion. And we're going to come back to that because I want to make sure that everybody's comfortable using ChatGPT. The next one is Canva. You might have heard of Canva. It's a program that allows you to create infographics or images, even videos that are really beautiful. I can't say all mine are beautiful, but I've been doing the newsletter, and all the images in there I've designed in Canva. If we have time today, I'll show you guys how to start using Canva and how to use AI sort of in Canva to get you started. If you turn the page, I have a couple other ideas for music teachers. Yesterday I tried Anthem Score, and it's a notation program. So I've always been looking for something that would quickly, if a child brought something on YouTube or played something for me, that would quickly notate it. Obviously I can do that myself, but it takes a little bit of time. I'm not always correct. I'm like, oh, can you play that again? And this program, Anthem, can do that for you. And with a free subscription to Anthem, it'll do the first 30 seconds of any audio for you, which I find is often enough. If a student gives me a YouTube video and says, I want to learn this, I can put it in Anthem and it gives me the first 30 seconds of it, so I know what key it's in, I know, all this stuff, and then I can just go a little quicker with it. Yes, Emmy?
Would something like that be acceptable for composition festival, or do they have to write it?
It's not going to work that clearly for composition festival. You would really have to do a lot of tweaking to it to make it work. I think all the AI options I have on here are not to replace our own work, not to replace our own thinking or our own touch in our studios, but just to kind of get us started or help us out. The last one on here, Descript, and if you guys are interested, I can show you an example of this. It edits audio and video for you, which is kind of nice. I put a little 5-minute talk that I did just yesterday in there, and it took out all my ums, all my uhs, all my ahs. And then it can do something where if you're looking at a script while you're giving a video, so your eyes flick over to your script, it can undo that for you so that your eyes don't do that in the video.
Wow.
So these are some of the AI tools that we can use if we're into these things on the second page are a little more complicated, a little more involved. But I want to go back to what we have on the first page, ChatGPT and Canva. Yes?
Yarrow is, yes, I'm recording here. Yarrow is on Zoom. Can you put the handout in the Zoom?
I emailed it to you.
Oh, okay, I put it in there. Fine.
I'm sorry.
No, totally fine.
Okay.
As long as I have it, that's good.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm keeping an eye on the time, don't worry. I know we have QR codes next.
Yeah, but mine's short.
Yours is short. Okay. So let's talk for a minute about ChatGPT. That's the first one on here. This is OpenAI. And I have for you a list on the second page of some ideas for how you might use ChatGPT. Let me tell you how I started using ChatGPT. I happened at the time, this was, I don't know, at least a year ago, more than that, I had a family in my studio who was very difficult. The kids were fantastic. It was really the mom, that's usually the case. And she was pushing my boundaries, she was overstepping my studio rules, she was sending me sometimes 3 emails in a day, and I was feeling emotional about it. I was feeling frustrated. I was feeling put upon, and I wanted to handle her in a professional, warm, friendly, efficient manner. I wasn't feeling professional, warm, friendly, or efficient. So what I was looking to do was to take my emotion out of the equation. And so I started a conversation with ChatGPT. And I put my studio policies in there, like copy paste, here are my studio policies. This is the problem. This is what I'm feeling. This is what I need to resolve. Here is her email. Please write a professional, warm, efficient, with boundaries, brief email. Da-da-da-dum. I had an email. I read it over. I was like, okay, let's tweak this. And then I sent the email, and then done. I didn't need to keep that emotion in me. And she responded very well. And so I thought, okay, here we are teachers, and we put so much creativity into our lessons with our students. And then there's all that other stuff on top that we have to deal with. And that sometimes drags us down. And I didn't want the way she was making me feel get in the way of my lessons with her kids. And so I started using that for my entire relationship with her, all my emails to handle. Now, what I learned right off the bat is, and this is just a little tip, if you start using ChatGPT for something like this, you have to let it know what you used. So it'll give you a draft. You might copy and paste it into an email and change some things. It's important to go back to ChatGPT and say, this is what I ended up sending. Because then going forward, it will use your tone, your sentence structure, your wording more than how it started. So you're teaching it, okay? At the beginning, I like to think of this a little bit like, sorry, Yarrow, like talking to a man. I needed to give it very specific instructions. I couldn't just be like, hey, can you clean the kitchen? I had to be like, hey, can you please take this canister and put it in the cabinet, and take this bowl of fruit and move it to the table. And so I had to just be very careful about it that way, because it would go in another direction pretty quickly. So I have a bunch of prompts for piano teachers on the second page here that might be interesting to you guys to use. So some of my favorites are the very first one: help me write a warm but professional email to a parent who hasn't been attending lessons regularly with their child. Right? Usually what's happening is it happens once, it happens twice, maybe a third time, and you're thinking, I need to say something, today's not the day, I need to catch them when they drop their kid off. And there's all this extra that is going on inside you and in your work that maybe ChatGPT could just handle for you. That would be nice. The people are saying, like, I don't want AI to do my creative work. I want AI to do my laundry. I want to do my creative work. I want to do my writing. I want to create these things. I need somebody to do my billing for me, things like that. So I kind of feel as a music teacher, like this is like my laundry. Like, write that email to that parent for me so I can just focus on my teaching. And then I can show up in my warmest, most efficient, most creative, most professional self because I don't have that baggage. Number 4, can you help me reword my studio policies to be clearer and more parent-friendly while maintaining professional boundaries? Okay, summer is a great time to be revamping some of the stuff that we have going into the fall. So maybe AI can help you with some of that. You might just upload your studio policies as a PDF, so you can drop PDFs into ChatGPT and it can read them for you. And then you might just say, I probably will try this, I'll report back to you. I'll just upload my studio policies and I'll say, this year I had trouble with, and I'll list the couple of things that happened in my studio. And I'll say, can you please redo my studio policies to make sure that these things are clearer for the parents of my students? And then of course, it's not publishing this for you. It's not sending any of this for you. All it's doing is creating text that you can then read. And in order for anybody else to see it, you would have to copy and paste it into an email. And at that point, you can make all the edits yourself, all right? So there's no fear in that AI is gonna take over your studio and start sending messages to these parents, although I honestly would be like, you talk to them, that's fine. Number 6, create a short parent questionnaire I can send mid-year to gather feedback about home practice and student motivation. So when I was the VP of Publicity, I did a big survey, a members' needs survey, to find out what it was that we were looking for, how people felt about the website, how they felt about the newsletter, what brought them into events, what kept them away, things like that. So these were all ideas of mine, but I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to open Google Forms, and I'm gonna have to figure out which things to put in order. I'm gonna have to figure out what the best response options are for each question. This is going to take me forever. It still took me a long time because I was generating this from my own brain, but I gave the questions to ChatGPT and said, I need to put together this survey. What is the best platform to use? I want it to be free. I want to be able to see like a map of all the responses. And so it gave me a couple options. I ended up using Google Forms because that was, after I looked at the options it gave me, that was the easiest one. And I said, okay, I'm gonna go with Google Forms. Now what? I said, oh, okay, well, give me the questions. And so I gave ChatGPT the questions, and it sort of fleshed it out a little bit for me in terms of like, the responses could be yes or no, but they could be like, if we're asking the level of education that somebody had, it split that up for me so I didn't have to do the busy work of figuring out how each option would go. All right, so you can do things like that in your studio if you wanted to send a survey out to your parents. You could start the conversation with, I would like to send a survey out to the parents of my students. I want to find out this, this, and this. Can you please create a survey for me? It's not gonna go into Google Forms and do the creation for you. But if you're not sure how to do it, like I wasn't sure what to use for something so big, I could just say, okay, what platform should I use? Or what's my next step? And it's just giving you instructions, which you can ignore. All right, you don't have to follow what AI says to do. Here's one. Okay, I put, because I teach Suzuki as well as traditional, summarize the main points of the Suzuki philosophy in a way that feels warm, clear, and accessible for new families. That's nice, right? I actually currently have ChatGPT handle all my inquiries. So something comes in, you probably have a template that you've written before and you say the same thing to make sure that you're giving the right information. But I can just put like, hey, just got this inquiry, here's the email. And ChatGPT knows from its experience with me that I want to make sure to find out how they got my name in that first email. I want to make sure I find out if they have a piano and if it's acoustic in that first email. I want to make sure that I'm inviting them for an observation in my studio. So all these things are covered, and it goes da-da-da-da-dum. I read it over. Be prepared at first to do a lot of correcting, all right? Because you're teaching it to know what you want. But now I get an inquiry, put it in there, I look at it, I'm like, great, send. And then when I finish my teaching and I'm looking through all my emails, don't have to spend a half an hour dealing with parent emails or inquiries or anything like that. I spend maybe 10 minutes and then I'm enjoying the evening with my husband, you know, I'm done. So I do want to tell you a little bit additionally how I've been using ChatGPT. This is a little more advanced, but an interesting concept, I think. I have 3 conversations going in ChatGPT, so it's 3 different threads. Okay, so thread number 1 has all this information, and thread number 2 has a different set of information. So we're working on different things together. And so I joke to my family that I hired 3 employees. I did name the threads. Connie is my communications manager. Summer is my social media manager. And Cora handles curriculum development for me. All right, I had a team meeting recently where I reminded them of their jobs, because occasionally ChatGPT needs to be reminded. If you think of this conversation as they started with their toes pointed this way and you guys are going great, and then at some point they're pointed this way a little bit, you just need to get them back on track. And so Connie, my communications manager, she's the one who handles all my inquiries, all my emails to parents. She sounds very much like me. Summer is the one who handles anything for social media. So the Music Institute of Chicago occasionally wants me to post on social media because I'm doing a course. And I'm like, what am I gonna post? When am I gonna post it? Where am I gonna post it? Hey Summer, I'm doing this course. It's coming up at the end of June. It's through the Music Institute of Chicago. They've given me an infographic. I dropped the infographic into ChatGPT, and Summer says, great. We should go ahead and post on LinkedIn and Facebook now with this information. And we should follow up, you know, at this date with this information. Great. I put it in my little notebook, my calendar. I'll do it. But it took the planning out of that aspect for me, because I don't enjoy that part. That's my laundry for me. And then Cora, my curriculum development person. I give presentations at like the National Conference on Keyboard Pedagogy or the Suzuki Association or whatever, and it's all coming from me. But what Cora helps me do is organize my thought, my threads a little bit. She might give me an outline of some of this stuff. I had recently, I had given a presentation in English at the Suzuki conference, and it was in English and in person. And then I was invited to give this same presentation in Spanish online. Well, that meant that the raise your hand thing, the handout that I passed out that we did together, it wasn't gonna work. And some of the expectations I had were also not gonna work. In Latin America, they don't all have laptops, it's mostly on phones. And so I was like, Cora, I have to redo this presentation. It went over really well, but this is what I'm concerned about. I dropped my slides into ChatGPT and gave her my script. And she said, okay, here are 5 suggestions that you can do to switch this over to an online format with a different audience. They weren't all great. 2 of them worked really, really well. And I appreciate that from her. I appreciate that because all it was that first step that got me thinking. Sometimes all we need is something on the paper to make us really be creative. We just need that first draft. And so on the front page, it tells you where to go. So under how to use it, and you can create a free account. At first, it's not gonna be perfect. But if you give it the prompts, like when I was dealing with that family, if I said, please write a warm, professional, brief, friendly email. And then I'd get it and I'd be like, yes, thank you, this was great. I need it to be more brief. Or I need it to be less effusive. Or I don't use these 3 words. Can you rewrite it? So it's a little bit of a process at first. And at first it might feel like it takes just as long and just as much work to do this as to just write the email yourself. But at this point, I was so ready to get rid of the emotions that came along with dealing with some of these parents that I was willing to put in the work. And so I suggest, if you're interested, that you get past that initial work, because I feel great. I love all my students. I also love all the parents of my students. And I'm wondering if I love them so much because I haven't had to have those frustrating emotions along the way. There's a good chance that I have some parents in my studio who are maybe just as bad as this one woman was. But I'm not having to feel it, and so things are just going better. So that's one of my suggestions for use of ChatGPT. But there are 10 prompts here that can sort of get you thinking about how you might want to use it if you want to try it. Yes, Yumi.
Question. So I use ChatGPT too, but how do you set up these different employees? How is this thread? I've never named ChatGPT. I just write, edit this email or this idea or.
Well, I actually, because I wanted to be very professional and efficient about this, I looked up job descriptions for a curriculum developer, a social media manager, and a communications person. And so here, let me show you. This won't mean anything to anybody who's not using ChatGPT, but I have different threads, and I've named the threads.
And then you just can put it in that menu, a name.
So like if I want to work on curriculum design, I go talk to Cora. She's right there. If I have social media stuff, I go talk to Summer. And then it brings up.
And you just named her, Summer curriculum or
Yeah,
whatever.
just because social media is Summer, it just helps me remember.
Cool.
So you only had the one free account, but you split it up into however many conversations.
Yeah, I'll get back to that. Let me finish responding to Yumi while I have that in my head. So I put in job descriptions, I put in my philosophy of teaching, and I put in like not a marketing philosophy, but like a business communications philosophy. And I kind of created, and I have in my email, like Summer's job description, Cora's job description. So at first, they're pretty good about it now. I haven't had to remind them recently. But at first, I would have to just go into my email, copy that email, and paste it in, being like, hey, just a reminder. And it would give them their job description. So it was like, I thought of it as my onboarding process for my new employees. And it took me a little bit of time to look up, job descriptions that I liked and to tweak them. But it was fun, actually. It was kind of cute. And so yeah, Emmy, to your point, yes, I have currently upgraded to a paid account just temporarily because I have a bunch of presentations coming up and I want it to be able to read my slides. The slides that I will create myself, that I will drop in there, and ChatGPT will give me an idea for like organization, things like that. But yes, in the free account, you just start 3 different threads. I have it on my phone too, so I can see the 3 different threads on my phone. All right, so you can have as many conversations as you want in a free account. And I think when I first started doing it, it was organized as, I think one of my threads was vacation ideas. One of my threads was helping me with teaching emails. And then I think one of my other threads was I wanted to start a wine club for my friends. Like, how do I go about doing that? Okay, so and it was from those threads that I realized, well, instead of conversations, if I thought of them as people or jobs, it could be more well-rounded and take care of a lot more things for me. So it is 9:30, which if Elaine, if you want to continue, otherwise for 5 minutes while you get ready, I can talk about Canva a little bit if you guys are interested.
Always wondering how you cloned yourself, and now I know.
That's right, I cloned myself 3 times: Cora, Connie, and Summer.
Mine is very short.
Well, I can take
So
another 5
Why
minutes.
don't I do it and then you come back and do
Okay,
more?
sure, yeah.
You know, because mine is, it's really short. So there are handouts there that you're going to be using, and they're for 3 devices. So feel free to take 1 or 3 like that. All right. Thank you to my daughter, Siobhan Van Winkle Smith, my daughter in marriage, Rachel Weaver. Siobhan got me started with this, and Rachel made all of the handout material. Phyllis Calderon, who showed me that this can be done. She's
Elaine, can you
president.
step 1 step back, then you are in the camera and also here in the camera. Thank you.
And also I'd like to thank Hyde Park Village Tech Talk, Allison, who helped me figure out how to do this. So I got a lot of help. But way back, I'd like to really thank Linda Barker, who might be on, because she's the one who had our very first technology presentation over at Northwestern University. And she set it up so beautifully. And Peter Webster did 2 days, and that's what got all of us onto being on computers, because we wouldn't even be on them if it wasn't for Linda. So Linda, if you're there, thank you for that. So this will be an old school talk that will help you understand, read, and download a QR code. And I think everybody in this room is under the age of 80. But I was at a meeting the other day, and I said, what about QR codes, guys? You know, I have to give this talk on QR codes. And they all looked at me like, what? And I thought, the Music Teachers National Association this year had 1 section for old people.
Really?
Yeah, they did. It was a whole section for, me and people like me. And so there was only 1 person in that room who even knew what a QR code was. So, and there were about 20 people there. So I thought, well, here probably all of you are like, what is she doing here? But that's okay, I don't care. It's all right. Maybe there's some oldies on there. Hi, oldies. Okay. So, first, some history. Okay, now you've got to listen, and I'm asking you a question. What is this? Beep, 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 beep.
Morse code.
You're right. Wow. I was walking in Hyde Park yesterday with a friend of mine who also didn't know what, QR codes were. And I did the beep beep thing, and she didn't even know what that was. So she and I were very good friends.
SOS, right?
So what does that mean? Samuel Morse's wife died before he could return for the funeral, as the message got to him too late. This was the impetus for his inventing the Morse code. And from the Morse code, eventually we got the barcode, because the Morse code was too slow. As time went on, the barcode with 12 digits on products was invented, as that was faster to send and read. When barcodes weren't sufficient, in 1994, and you don't have to take notes because it's all online, the inventor, using his imagination from the Go board game, invented QR codes. Now my girlfriend said, what does QR stand for? I know you all know that it means quick response. That's what QR is. By 2017, which isn't that long ago, 8 years ago, QR codes were in our cell phones. For more information on the history of the codes and how they work, I put it in the link this morning, so you can see it right in the link there. And Siobhan got that link for me. And actually, it really teaches you not just the history, but a lot about how they work and so on. It's in a very interesting link. So, have you needed to use a QR link? Did you go in a parking garage and need to scan the barcode to park, to pay, to leave? Well, I went in one. My cousin Eleanor was in town and she said, hurry up, I have a whole hour. And she wrote Dirty Dancing. I'm kind of proud about that. And so she's a very good friend, and I jumped in the car and raced there, and the apartment that she was staying in, this woman, the only way you could get in was if you knew how to do a barcode. Well, I had not a barcode, a QR code, and I had no idea what I was doing, but somehow or other I got it in my phone, and I was like, oh boy. And we went up and we talked instead of for 1 hour, for 3 hours, and I had to get back to teach. So I get in the car, and there I am, and I don't know where that barcode is. And I looked, and there was this guy behind me honking. He had to get to the airport, and honestly, they finally just let me out free of charge. But this woman who I talked to yesterday with her husband, who's a big deal professor at the university, she said to me, oh, that happens to us all the time. They have to help us. And I thought, okay, but now I think I could get out of that place when I get invited. I will be invited. I was invited again. Were you in Barcelona and need the menu in English? That's why you use your QR code. Did you need to scan the barcode, the QR code, off a poster, as there wasn't time to copy the details? My sister was like, what do you need to know that for? I said, Carol. So she thought, oh yeah, maybe. Did you want to order a product offered on a TV show? I know all of you know these things. Okay. Well, of course, you've seen that square with the lines. The lines go, and this is explained in that place where Siobhan showed me exactly how they're made. You go up and down and up and down and up and down. With black and white, I wore an outfit to kind of show that off. And around the edge, there's a place that's called the quiet zone. The square is divided into 4 parts, and the square in the right lower quadrant has a smaller marking in the alignment pattern. Even up to 30% damaged, this code will still work. So let's say you put it on your, program, or maybe some of the things that you were talking about.
I have in my neighborhood, when I moved into my new neighborhood, I put up some little signs with a QR code on it. And obviously there's weather and sun, and they, were not as beautiful when I first put them up, but they were still working. So
a lot of people think, I don't know, I think when they see that, believe it or not, they think you're more with it. So, if only for that, for you oldies, you might not be more with it, but you sort of look like you're more with it, I guess. Okay, so all of the people here know how to read a QR code. I'm absolutely sure of that. But that's okay, because we're all here. This is show and tell, right? So, here are some QR codes. Okay, this is participating. We're all going to read a QR code. And you people online, good luck. You have to find your own QR code. But if you like, I'll send you one later. Here's your QR code. Here's a QR code. Here's a QR code. And one for you. And one for you down there in the corner. Uh-oh, I ran out.
I don't think there's a
You can do it down here.
Here's one. Okay, I'm gonna use this one. So,
No, we'll both do this one.
so the first thing you do is you open, your phone. See, I didn't know how to do this, but now I know how to.
Cynthia, you should
I'm
try
so
it with your
proud of
phone.
myself. Am I standing in the
Try it
right
with your
place
phone.
now?
Because
Wait,
I'm
wait, I
waiting.
scan this QR code and it's asking me for money.
I know, but you don't have to give money.
No,
But those are the ones I had.
They
So you go down, and for you who don't know how to do it, because I know there are some people who really don't. You go down again, and then right on your phone, there's that little thing. It says scan QR code. So you scan your QR code. Now, the only problem with doing this is if it's really small or really big, you have to put your phone there. Whoops. I still don't know exactly what I'm doing. And there it is. And then it's going to say open link or copy. So I'm just going to open it. And this one's going to be asking for money too. That's okay.
But
Doesn't
you put
matter.
a QR code on the handout too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
takes me to CAMTA.
It has my tools on it,
Right,
so I
that's
know
why,
that.
that's why, Rachel made all of those handouts. She put the little circles and helped me to do it. Honestly, I really didn't know what I was doing. So mine is make a donation to Music Teachers of Hyde Park. And I can fill this out. It's got the visa, all the information that you could possibly need to do it. And this goes straight into, Phyllis Calderon. She's fabulous. She's our treasurer. And she made all these things so that we can do it. But you have to, I'll keep going. I'll talk a little bit more. But anyway, mine, the one that I did was for Concerto Day. And that's if people wanted to make a donation for Concerto Day. See, I have on my Concerto Day shirt. So that's how we make money. And CAMTA could make some money too by selling t-shirts at some of your events, because people would buy them. And it actually does make a little bit of money. But somebody has to organize it and do it. And whenever I have an idea,
You're good at designing. I will do the talking.
whenever I have an idea, the lady over there sitting there says, if you have the idea, you gotta do it. But the problem is, I'm old now, I've done it, and I'm not doing any more, so I'm gonna put this down. Okay. All right. So. Each one of you who is here in person has a sheet with a QR code on it. So place your phone over the QR, okay, we already did that. Now we're up to website. So if you want to make your own QR code, you must use Google Chrome, according to my buddy, to Rachel. Now, don't ask me any questions because I don't know the answers. And I didn't ask Rachel to come down, because she's got a lot going on. But some of you may know the answers. But as I understand it, you have to use Google Chrome. It's a free search engine for you oldies. And it's very easy to get on your phone, and it's very easy to get on your computer. I mean, even I have them, so it's not really very hard to do. So I think it'd be actually more interesting for everybody to hear our lady here continue with your talk, because we have to stop on time. Yeah, we don't have a lot of time. So I was going to ask you to make it on your Android device. Everybody has the handouts here, or do it on Google Chrome on an Android device. There were 2 pages. Google Chrome on an iPad or an iPhone who can actually do it, but I think all of you know how to do it, right? Oh, Margaret,
That's the part I don't know.
I don't know how to do it.
oh, okay. Well, what,
I know how to use my 2R reader.
Right.
That's all I know.
Well, should we hook do we have something that will project right now or
It's
no?
very hard to
We
see.
have to
Well,
ask.
I don't really care if they hear, because,
Wait, I was just thinking we could just,
but everybody has
Do
a
it.
piece of paper
yeah.
showing which one do you want to learn how to do?
Which one do you have?
I think the computer one is probably the best way to
I
do
brought
it.
mine.
Does everybody have a
I don't have
computer?
website, so make a QR code for somebody else's website.
Uh-huh.
What do you have, a phone?
Yeah,
So let's do it on the phone. What kind of phone do you have?
it's an Android. It's an Android. I
Good.
have an Android.
And
Good.
that's great, so why doesn't somebody sit with her and help her,
Okay.
okay?
Elaine, this is yours. They already have my money.
Well, don't confuse me, it's very easy to confuse me. All right, let's
Okay,
keep going
so-
here. So you
Are
have,
Android people getting together and doing
Yeah,
this?
Android people
iPhone people?
be together. All right, so I have the
Androids?
Android piece of paper here. Let's really do the Android because honestly, this is so easy.
I'm
Your Apple. But I think the instructions
you
on the
have to-
handout are quite good.
You
And
have
I
to
can
be on a
use my phone.
website.
Website?
Yeah, we can
So I can.
All right, so let's
Cynthia,
get on
maybe what are you guys
CAMTA.
on?
Let's get on CAMTA.org.
Cynthia,
So
you, what are you
Don't
guys
worry
on?
We are
about-
Apple, but
So
my
it's-
phone is
so it's
there.
Annie.
Yeah, I just.
Don't worry about
And
them
do you
too
want to
much.
come?
So CAMTA.org,
So now.
and you'll see, once you're on CAMTA.org,
There's my QR code for any of your stuff?
I don't know the website.
Okay. Okay.
you'll
Do you wanna
see
go this
three
way?
dots. You can do this at home too.
okay.
Perfect. You can also do a QR code.
And you'll see the three dots.
Sorry.
Okay, so.
Which one are you
No,
doing?
what do you look like? Oh, we're doing Android,
It's close quarters.
because I've never done it on Android, I've only done it on a computer, so I'm following.
But you're looking at the wrong thing. Oh, you're already up to that? Man, you're fast.
No.
Okay, so
Oh, there's a
First
first
page.
page. I don't have a
first you need the three dots.
Do you have?
Then you're gonna
Chrome
see
on your
share.
phone?
Got it.
No, I got it on my
Okay,
computer.
so
so
After you do the three dots.
So
you
this
can
is,
see-
this is
No, I
only
think you have
for
to-
iPad or
I
iPhone.
have Safari and.
Oh, well, didn't you get,
Yeah,
which one
I
is
got
so
it?
this is
Yeah, there's
Mac or PC.
Are you on the wire, on the Wi-Fi?
Is there,
Let's all
oh,
go on the
Android,
Wi-Fi.
here's the
There are
Android.
two
you know.
pages. Yeah, Android. There are 2 pages for instance.
Sorry, I need your face to recognize it. Okay.
Now we're talking. So, navigate to the website, and then you'll see 3 dots.
Uh-huh, at the top.
At the top, you know those 3 dots that we're all familiar with? Tap the 3 dots.
So it's 24 by
And then you'll
24 by
see share.
25. Wow.
Thank you,
Plus
Rachel,
your
for making
number
this.
of combinations.
Oh, none of your preferred networks are
Did you
available.
see the 3 dots?
Do you know?
And then it's gonna say share.
Right.
What?
And then you just
Join.
hit share. And then
Elaine
it'll
knows the
say
password.
select QR code. And she said you might have to scroll sideways
So
to
go to
get
Channel
to
14.
get to the QR
Oh,
Yeah, well,
code.
do you want to make?
So
And then there it is. There it is. And that's the QR code.
Not
And then
Piano Forte
that can go
DMS,
right
right?
into
Just
your
Piano
computer.
Forte, or Piano
And you
Forte
can share
guest.
it and put it on.
So make sure you download it,
Uh-huh.
so you have it.
Right.
Now you just 3 dots.
Could not be joined.
Yeah, I don't have
I'm
enough
moving
storage.
closer to the
Okay.
wireless
And then
router. Run
Is it-
diagnostic.
Continue. And keep it in there.
Okay, with just 6 minutes, I just want to introduce you guys to Canva. Okay, this is what I use for the newsletter, for designing any of those things. Honestly, it doesn't save me time like ChatGPT does, because I'm in there creating, just making things more beautiful because, I don't know, it makes me happy.
Question, what does GPT stand for?
I don't know.
my husband would say, look it up on Google. And he never looked at a computer in his whole life. With a brat.
Okay, so if we look at Canva, what I want to introduce to you guys is the AI design feature. Because if you're not used to using Canva and putting everything together, this can get you started. Like I said with ChatGPT, like your first draft, right? You can always edit things from there. Okay? So on the handout, it says where to go, www.canva.com, okay? And it's going, my last page is just an example of various things that I've done on Canva. So if you see anything that you're like, oh, I could do certificates or whatever, it's just to help you generate ideas to get started. But if you go to Canva, the first thing up there right now is like a, hey, what do you want to work on today? That's AI talking to you, okay? So let's try something. What do we want to make? Let's just see what happens. Anybody have any ideas?
Flyer for the chamber event
Okay,
in the summer.
so I'm gonna just go ahead and type, it says, what will you design today? And this is Canva AI. So a flyer for a chamber music event. Any other details? You can give me details.
Let's say August someday at Pianoforte. Anyone can come. Give us ideas what you would like to play, what group. It will be around 2 hours.
Okay. Do you have a specific date? Just
No,
August?
I just make something up.
Okay.
August, maybe a Friday or so.
Okay. So I put a flyer for a chamber music event, August, Sunday at Pianoforte. Anyone can come. Give us ideas for what you would like to play, about 2 hours long.
That's ChatGPT.
No, this is Canva.
Canva.
But they use AI too.
Yeah, so there's an AI prompt. So
Oh.
obviously this is very rough,
Everything uses now AI.
right?
Instrument, maybe. What instrument do you play?
Okay, great.
Yeah. good question.
Let us know what instrument.
What piece would you like to play?
Okay, hold on. I have a question, guys. Do we want to have do we care at all what colors? Do we want the picture of instruments on this?
Yes.
What do we?
Oh,
yes.
Yes, okay.
Instrument.
Yes.
And bright.
Please include pictures of instruments.
Whoa.
Make
it goes
it
so fast
bright
now.
colors. Okay.
Where is it when you get to
Canva.
Canva.
What will you design? So you put it all in the chat.
So
Oh, this is
So-
ChatGPT.
no, that's the
No, no.
Canva AI.
AI. But you
So
put it all
that's
in.
the first prompt. So this is very rough what we put in there. Okay, we don't know what it's gonna come up with. So
So Canva is AI?
Canva has an AI feature.
Oh.
So a lot of these things on there
Like
have
Google
an
has it
AI
too.
feature that can kind of help you out. So when I don't actually use the AI feature in Canva. I just go in and design my own things, but it's the first thing to kind of get you started if you want to learn. So I'm going to press go.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what happens. Okay, it's thinking. Okay, it's brainstorming. It says, got it, let me work on that for you, just a moment. It's polishing design details right now. So this is what it looks like thinking.
I made Cynthia's certificate from Canva.
Nice.
Hello, Karen. We are just creating right now a flyer for the chamber event on Canva using AI. So I recorded it. Look it up. It makes life much easier for you.
Oh no, something went wrong. Try asking me again. Okay.
So
Maybe
now
too
you can
much.
see the whole steps again.
Okay, so I'm gonna.
Do we have too much?
I don't know what we have going on. So I tried this the other day, and I have some screenshots I took to show you instead. How about we do
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Siobhan said the Wi-Fi might have dropped it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi is not that strong here.
Okay. This is not it. Let's see. Okay, so here's an example. I put something in here and I gave it content for a presentation on using AI,
Can you show the screen?
an infographic. I can in a minute. So the infographic, it's in Canva, Magic Write, and it came up with this. So this was, so yeah, it has the bright colors. It has organized it for me. So in here it talks about ChatGPT and Canva and the other two things that I mentioned for you that's on your handout. And so if I wanted to just show a little infographic, if I wanted to put this in the newsletter, for instance, like this is what we're gonna talk about, it's already made. I could just click on it and make some edits, and then there you go. I could also tell it, you know what, I don't like these colors. Our CAMTA colors are red, white, and blue, and a lighter blue as well. And then it would redesign it for me with the colors for CAMTA. So I invite you guys to play around with that, because something like Canva might seem kind of intimidating because there are so many options. But if you start with their AI feature and just tell them what you want and you're on strong internet, it will generate something for you. And that's a good starting place. You can just then click edit from there, and then you can change the wording, you can change the colors, things like that. And if you have any trouble, you can always send me an email, because I do these things all the time, so it's pretty easy for me. But I invite you guys to just try it out. The AI feature is not taking away our own creativity. It's not replacing our own thinking. It's sort of giving us that first step, that maybe first draft that helps you move forward from there. You had a question, Margaret?
No, I was just gonna say, I went on Etsy and I was looking for certificates and or a program, and I saw, oh, that looks beautiful, and I bought it for like $7, and then I realized this is only a template, and you have to organize it. So I asked my very dear savvy computer parent, and she came up with this.
That's great.
I think it's very nice. And then I made the certificates close to this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using the same pattern, but it's so.
Yeah,
Come
Come
inside and she says,
that's her job.
Mm-hmm.
And in 40
You can come
minutes,
inside and
she did both the program and the certificate.
Yeah.
I have a little present for everybody who came today. And so if you come next time, you might get a present. So,
luring everyone.
I didn't make these. Hannah Voight's first husband made us stationery way back. And I know that's really old school, but I have found some envelopes.
Oh, fun.
And you wanted to copy the
Thank you.
thing.
I thought we wanted to
You
have
can
some
have
photos.
Don't worry.
You are facing the audience here. I face the stage.
That's okay. You
So
have
that's you. I'm facing the stage. Oh, okay.
I also have the stationery, but I only have 2 copies of it, so I'm going to make copies of the stationery. And maybe if people want to write thank you notes to people, then you'll have stationery and so on.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you so much, everyone.